Welcome to my kitchen. I'm Karen Pullen, and this is getting echo on my phone. This is everyday plant-based cooking demo, and I'm still getting an echo. I'm just going to turn this phone off. Sorry, it's not a very good start, is it? Okay, here we are. Yeah, I'm Karen Pullen, and I have a little cooking school called Everyday Plant-Based, where I try to demonstrate that eating plant-based can be normal and simple and delicious, and we know it's healthy, so I don't have to say that too many times. So one of the things I wanted to do was cook more greens, and the reason for that is that, hold on a minute, I still have a problem with this stupid phone. I'm going to get rid of it. Go away. The reason for that is that greens are probably the healthiest thing you can eat. I'm thinking back to a book when I first started looking at nutrition. I went through this book called Eat for Health. It's by Dr. Joel Fuhrman. It's a fantastic book. And one of the things I love about it is if you look at it this way, it gives you the background and the story and the evidence for eating plant-based. And then if you turn it over this way, you get all the recipes and all the facts about different foods. And one of the things he does is assign scores to different foods. And he's got a score, I think it's called the Andy score, which is the amount of nutrients per calorie. And the food with the highest, hi Lydia, the food with the highest Andy score is kale. So kale, superfood. Kale is a superfood, and we need to eat more kale and other leafy greens like arugula, chard, spinach, turnip green, which I love. I love turnip greens, mustard greens, all the greens. Eat a lot of greens, people. So, this is Joel Fuhrman's book, Eat for Health and Eat for Health. But it's really two books in one, which is kind of cool. It's a great resource for recipes, and he actually, in the beginning, kind of walks people through a transition. If you are eating kind of the standard American diet, and you want to transition to plant-based diet, he's got a method for doing that over a period of time. So it's a great book. And his approach is called nutritarian. So you might have heard people say they're nutritarian, and it's because they try to maximize their nutrients, be super healthy. Another doctor who really promotes greens is Michael Greger, How Not to Die. And this was the first book he wrote. He also wrote How Not to Diet and How Not to Age, which I'm currently reading. And in How Not to Die, he talks about, he calls it the daily dozen, things you should try to eat every day. And one of those things is greens, and he recommends 2 servings of greens a day. So all the plant-based experts, they're all on the same page, which is to eat your greens. Okay, so getting back to kale. Kale is not my favorite green because I find it a little chewy, and also sometimes if I eat too much raw kale, I think I have a hard time digesting it. It's very fibrous. So I like to cook it. And this recipe is so quick. We're going to steam it for a couple minutes. And while it's steaming, we're going to make kind of a dressing, a delicious dressing, which will make the kale delicious. So what I have done to prep is I took a bunch of kale. stripped off the leaves. So there's different methods for doing that. I just put it on a cutting board and just cut out the stem. Actually, if you do it from the underside of the kale, it's really easy. And then I started just cutting it up a little bit. Actually, right now I'm just using some scissors, cutting up the kale into pieces. This is going to be like a salad. Behind me on the stove, I have my steamer going. So I'm going to just walk over there now and drop this into the pot. Whoops, I just dropped a piece on the floor. Okay, I'm going to walk over here. There we go. I got the kale in the pot. I'm going to set the timer for 5 minutes. And it gives me a little bit of time to put this dressing together, which is so simple. It's a creamy walnut dressing. So let's see. I just want to make sure I get the proportions right. So the recipe is on my website, which is everydayplantbased.com. And I just put it up there. If you just click on recipes, it should be one of the ones at the very top. You can always search that page, though, if you are looking for, if you have a particular ingredient and you want to know, what can I do with this? What can I do with this? I don't know, millet or Brussels sprouts or whatever. There should be a recipe somewhere on the page. So the recipe is a bunch of kale. We have half a cup of walnuts. And I'm using a NutriBullet, which I love my little NutriBullet. It's like a small blender. I think a lot of people use these for smoothies, but I find they do really a good job at chopping up just about anything and making it nice and creamy. So it's almost as good as the Vitamix blender. So half a cup of walnuts, half a cup of water. My sink is right here next to me. Okay. Then we're going to add a little bit of seasoning. We're going to add a teaspoon of tamari, which is just you could add soy sauce too. Tamari is basically soy sauce without the grain, without the wheat. I'm pretty sure of that. Then we need to add some seasoning, and my recipe says half a teaspoon of Italian seasoning. You can add other seasonings too, whatever you might like on your kale. Some people might like some more maybe Middle Eastern seasonings, like some cumin and coriander and things like that. This particular seasoning is called garlic and herb seasoning blend. It's basically kind of an Italian seasoning. It does have some salt in it, so I'm not going to add extra salt. I'm going to put in half a teaspoon. And then we're going to add a clove of garlic. Cut it up a little bit before I demand that my NutriBullet puree it. I really like garlic, actually. And I would maybe even add 2 cloves to this, but this is a garlicky seasoning, so I'm not going to add 2 cloves today. All right, let's see what we can do. If my NutriBullet has trouble with this, I might add a little extra water. Sometimes it doesn't cooperate. There we go. I see Anita's here. Hi. I know where Anita's from. She's from Las Vegas. Where are you from, Lydia. This is really nice. So I got rid of my phone camera so you can't see. Actually, maybe I'll get it back. Because it was being annoying. Okay. Sorry, I haven't got it on the stand, but you can see the dressing. It's gotten creamy. I'm sorry. I really need a videographer, but you can see it's gotten creamy. It's really nice. I didn't have to add any extra water. All right, now let's get rid of this annoying phone. Okay, so the dressing is made and the kale just has 15 seconds to go. And then we will take it out and mix it up. I'm going to mix it up in the same bowl that I was holding the washed and trimmed and chopped up kale in. Okay, so you ready? Let me take the bowl over here. Do it this way. Okay, so it's beautifully green. It's still beautifully green, which I really like, because one thing I don't like when you sometimes boil leafy greens is they kind of lose their color. They lose that beautiful green chlorophyll color. So steaming them just for 5 minutes keeps it nice and green. It's also, you can see there's a lot less. I had a big bowl, but it's cooked down, the same way spinach is done. It's lost a lot of the moisture in there. So it's going to be ready to combine with this dressing. All right. So I'm going to put about half in and see if I like the percentage. See if I like that much. Okay, I'm going to let you guys see it with the phone again. It just takes me a second to attach my phone. This is a really quick recipe, so I can afford to kind of futz around with it a little bit. Oh, I can't tell you how good this smells. I think what I smell is just a combination of soy sauce and garlic and some of that seasoning. And then the kale too. I don't think I have a problem adding the rest of this. Let's see. I'm going to scoop out the rest of the contents of the NutriBullet and add to this kale. That was such a simple dressing to make. And actually, I think in Dr. Furman's book, or maybe it's Dr. McDougall's book, he has a salad dressing that is made with walnuts. It's probably the best salad dressing ever that doesn't contain any oil. Though, of course, walnuts do contain a lot of fat. Nothing wrong with that. Okay, so I put the rest of the dressing in here. Just going to mix this up. And then I want to taste it. Honestly, this was at one of those huge bunches of kale. It was like this big. And by the time I took out the stems and cut it up and steamed it, this is now about two or three servings, I think, as a side dish. And easy, so easy. I mean, it only took a couple minutes. Let me get a fork. Okay, let's put some in a bowl and see what it tastes like. I can smell the garlic. Oh, wow. That's really good. The garlic taste is a little strong. If you don't like garlic, maybe just put in half a clove or leave it out. Maybe add half a teaspoon of garlic powder or something. I love garlic, so it doesn't bother me, but I'm just telling you it's a strong flavor in this particular dish. And it could also be because my spices that I used were a garlic and herb seasoning blend. So my spices are garlic too. All right, I'm going to take another bite. This kale was the really curly kind. I know there's other kinds, and some other kinds are actually kind of softer. Lucinto cave is a little bit softer. So maybe it's easier to eat when it's raw. But this is so good. I think this recipe is definitely a keeper. We have to eat our greens, people. So Anita says she'll make it. It's easy. Yes, it's very easy. You just need some walnuts and some water, a little soy sauce, and some seasoning. Makes a wonderful sauce or dressing. I guess we'll call it a dressing because it's like a salad. So that's all I have for today. I might actually scoop out some of this in my the bottom of my NutriBullet. It still has a little dressing in there. Let's try to get a little more out of that. So that'll be my project for the next few minutes. But I appreciate that people watched today. I plan to be back next week. One of the things I want to make, I don't know if I'll make it next week, but I want to make it pretty soon. It's a seaweed salad. I don't know if you guys ever eat those, but I just have a hankering for seaweed salad, so I might make that next week. And of course, that's another green. It's a leafy green. Is it a leafy green? Seaweed? I guess it's an algae. I don't know. I'll have to look that up. I have to do some research. But I love going to like a sushi restaurant and getting seaweed salad. And I tried to buy, I looked at the store the other day. They had a little container. It was about this big. It was about this high. I swear there was not even half a cup of seaweed salad in there. And it was $5. Ridiculous. I didn't buy it because next week I'm going to make it. Okay. Well, thanks for being here, everybody. Hope to see you next week. Wednesday at 2:00 Eastern Daylight Time.